What's up, guys? It's Austin from Yu-Gi-Oh! Theory, and today I have a deck profile for my Palezoic frogs. I've been using them a lot lately, actually, to duel my friends, and I haven't gotten to use them in my local tournament yet, just because I haven't been able to go lately. But I'm really looking forward to using them the next time I go. But they are just a really good deck overall, and they're kind of like a dark horse type of deck. Like they could top like here and there throughout any given format, unless it's like a really heavy back row hate format, then it's kind of hard for Paleozoic to top. But the Frog engine is pretty much good in anything. It's just a really good engine overall. And let's just get into the deck profile. So first, for monsters, I run the obvious 3 Swap Frog. It's just so good. It gets most of your plays started, and it also really helpful to run a bunch of frogs to banish off of Ronin Totem to special summon them back. And also this is really good just for feeding your graveyard with Ronin Titans to banish to send stuff back, or to special summon Ronin Titan. And it's like being able to send itself back to the hand to like summon something else like a dupe frog, so you can search one after they attack into it, is also really good. And it's just overall just a really good starting monster. Next you run 3 dupe frog because it's really helpful to banish off rodent totem, and it's also just really good to set your opponent attacks into it. Next turn you search that turn you search the swap frog, and then you can just normal summon the swap frog and go off with your regular plays like nothing happened. It's just overall a really good card for that and just recovery kind of thing. Next, I own 2 Ronin Totems. I'm thinking about bumping this up to 3 just because it is such a good card for coming back on your opponent and just making some of your really stupid boards, because none of the Toad effects are once per turn, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. That's pretty crazy that none of them are once per turn, so you can just activate them and resolve them as much as you want. And it's just really good. That's it for monsters. Very small monster count in this deck because all your monsters are just toads, and that's pretty much the only thing useful to you, except if you run the spellbook or the spellbook engine. I don't run it just because personally I can't afford Spellbook of Knowledge. It has gone down recently, and I might buy some, but for now I just don't have any. So I might get some and do an update, but for now I don't. The card I can't afford though is Card of Demise, which is kind of funny because they're about like the same price. But Card of Demise in this deck is like really good because you can just activate this first turn, or set your entire hand, activate this first turn, and then draw some more stuff. Or you could just like set a dupe frog and then maybe activate some spells to draw some, and then just set a bunch and then activate this and then draw 3 more and then set some more if you have the space for it. But I only run 2 just because you don't really want to see it a whole lot, especially if you have a swamp frog on hand. Swamp frog is really good, or a swamp frog with another frog monster is also really good, or any aqua monster in general if you run other aquas. It's just really good in general. Next I run 2 Palezoics because everything important that you need you run 3 ofs, and everything that's like 2 ofs is like minimally important, or is like a tech type of thing, or just something that comes up sometimes. And Pot of Desires is really good for drawing cards. I have almost never banished all 3 Swamp Frogs, even though I have done it and it really sucked. The times that I drew whatever, it usually made up for it. Not me banishing them, but all the other times that I didn't banish like so bad and then draw cards. But it's overall just a really good card. A card I really like in this deck is Scapegoat. Scapegoat is super good. It's like the best comeback card because like say your opponent like during their turn like destroys like a bunch of your monsters and stuff, and you're just like, wow, I do not have anything to do, and you have Scapegoat set, and you just wait till the end of their turn during the end phase, activate Scapegoat, summon 4 tokens, and the next turn you have a Borreload. You can just kind of pick apart their board with Borreload because he's so good. And you can also make stun cards like Griffin, or you can make like more aggressive like draw cards, sort of like Saryuja. And it's just overall just a really good monster, or a really good spell card to get like your comeback going. And that's the reason why I run it really. Next I run 2 Call by the Graves because hand traps can kind of stun this deck some because the totally awesome special summons from the deck and stuff. And also I really hate graveyard decks. Like I like playing with them, but I hate playing against them just because they're like super recurrent and stuff. And also the Sky Strikers, the Ace Ray or whatever, I think that's what it's called. I have one, but I don't play Sky Strikers. it activates in the graveyard to do something. I forgot what it does, but it's kind of important. So I just have this for hand traps and also that play as well. And then for my last spell, I run one Monster Reborn. The Monster Reborn comes in handy a lot to extend some of your plays, and it's just, I mean, it's Monster Reborn. It's such a good card. That's it for spells. Now the traps. Now this is where we really get into the meat and potatoes of the deck, if you would say. Next, you run 3 Palezoic Candinas, basically a Book of Moon. Super good. Special summon any Palezoic card from your graveyard. That's like their effect. If you activate a trap card, you can special summon any of them from the graveyard. It's just really good in general. Next 3 Dynamiscus, basically a Karma Cut. I think that's what it copies, is a Karma Cut. And it's really good as well, just to banish. And then next 3 Oleanoids is pretty much a MST. Also really good for hitting back row and field spells, because field spells are pretty good in these last few formats, and they might be in the next few formats. I only run 1 Mithrilia, because it really doesn't come up a whole lot. Usually you just use it to feed your graveyard with more Paleozoics, if you want to make more Paleozoic plays, which you can also use the Paleozoics to make frogs, but the frogs are definitely better attached to the Totally Awesome than the Paleozoics are, because all the frogs have graveyard effects pretty much. Well, the important ones like Rodent and Totem, they're all useful in the graveyard. That's what I meant. Next, for non-Paleozoic traps, you run 3 Solemn Strike. It is like the most definite like effect negation and summon negation you can get. This deck does kind of lose to what's it called? Red Reboot, and Red Reboot can change a Solemn Strike, which is kind of dumb. Well, it's not dumb. That's how counters work, but still, it's really annoying. And the card just kind of sucks against this deck. It just really hurts you, and there's not really much else I can say. I mean, if you have like some really good traps, it doesn't matter if they negate you, because you're just gonna blow them out next turn. But it still affects you a lot. Next, I run 3 Compulsory Evacuation Device. This card is really good to hit extra deck monsters, especially some of the like high link monsters, high rating link monsters. I guess that's how you would say it. It's really good against those, because they usually put like a lot of resources into making it. You just compulsory evacuation it back to their extra deck, and it's just like really nice. And especially some of those like really like powerful present monsters on the board, they're kind of hard to get rid of. Compulsory Evacuation Device usually helps you get rid of those pretty easily. Next, I run 3 Bottomless. This is really good for a bunch of like spam decks, mostly Pendulum Summoning, and also Soul Charge comes up a lot with this card, but it's also just really good for hitting big monsters as well, because a lot of monsters have over 1500. I mean, it's pretty easy to hit like Ultimate Conductor Tyrannos. I think the Sky Strikers might have more than 1500, but I think they might be 12. I think the Ray might have 1800, but I'm not real sure. And a bunch of other decks are pretty good. The Altergeist monsters have over that, and not all of them, but a lot of them do, and it's just really good. Next, I run 2 Lost Wind. 2 Lost Wind, you can recur it. Negating a monster effects and having attack comes up a lot, actually, because the frogs have low attack, and the Totally Awesome has mediocre attack. If you have Starboy in the field, it goes up to 27, but it's still not like enough, and this really helps you beat over things and also not getting like attacked over yourself. And getting the effects comes up super handy, and being able to recycle it is even handier. That's just why I run it. Next, this is just kind of like a personal thing to me. I've been trying it out a lot lately. Waking the Dragon. This card is really good. One time I was playing this, I had 2 set, and my opponent popped both of them with like a Twin Twisters, and I activated both of them, and I summoned a Borload and a Griffin. Now, I have done it to where I've activated 3 in a game, but they were like, I think I activated like 2 on one turn and something else, but they were like from different cards, and I ended up having a Borload, a Griffin, and a Trigate, and it was really nice because they were all protected by Griffin, so all their effects were working off and stuff, and it was just overall really good. And this card, honestly, I might take it out, but for now I really like it, so I probably will keep it. Sorry if I've been shifting to the right. I didn't know if I was or not. I haven't really been looking at the camera a whole lot, but I know I kept it in frame at least. So that's it for the main deck. Now with the extra deck, we got Totally Awesome. Totally Awesome's like super good. He's like one of the best overlays. He's really easy to beat over. That's kind of his weakness, but his effect negation is very good. I've negated all sorts of things like Crystal Wings and I negated a masterpiece one time that was unaffected by spells and monsters, which was pretty good. I've negated so many alternatives. Alternatives really good to negate with it because you can still pop. And having a 3000 beater face down is actually pretty good because when you flip it up next turn, it's really useful. And it's just overall a really good card. And being able to special summon, like say Swamp Frog, and then fuel your graveyard more is even better. It's overall just a really good card. Palezoic Anomalescris or whatever. I don't know how to say this joint. This is basically a masterpiece that's only unaffected by monster effects, and it takes 3 instead of like your regular masterpiece. And it only has 2400 attack, which is kind of weak, but overall it's just really good. During any player's turn, popping is very strong. Being unaffected by anything is really strong, especially monster effects. That's like one of the best ones. Is really good, and it's just overall like a really good card. Next, like a slightly less good card is Paleozoic Opabina. Being able to add certain Paleozoic cards is pretty good because you can add the Candina if you really are playing like a very fast-paced like special summon deck or something like that. And you can add the Illinois if you're playing back row and so forth. Pretty easy just to search anything really. Next, that's it for overlays. For links, I play one Borload because Borload, use it for the Scapegoat combo, and it's overall just super good. It's just a really good card overall. It's my favorite Link 4. I think it's much better than Saryuja. Saryuja is not very good going first. Where Borload's okay going first, but it's really good going second. And Griffin's like very good going first, but not good going second. Where Saryuja's just kind of there in the middle. Like if you have the extra resources, you can make it and then draw a bunch. But it's just not really for me. You know what I'm saying? I think Borload's much better. And next, Griffin. I'm not really sure if this is better than Saryuja or not. I don't have a Saryuja, but I have played with it a few times because my friend Clay has one, and I've used his a few times. And I think I just like these two better over them. And Griffin's cheaper than Saryuja. I think Borload might be more, but I'm not quite sure on that. Overall, I just like it better. Next, I run Trigate Wizard because I can summon it, and it's like a better Link 3 than Decode. And I'm not sure if I would run Decode over it because Decode does more by itself than Trigate, but I might just because Decode has more attack by itself, like starting off, and the target negation does come in handy a lot. I might take it out for a Decode, but I'm not real sure yet. I run one with Starboy. I only ever see myself making one. I probably should put a second one in if I find the space, but for now I really haven't. I could take out the Trigate for it if I really wanted to. And I haven't really been able to find my second one. I know I have one somewhere, but I just can't find it right now. But Starboy at 1 is still fine. The attack boost comes in handy a lot. Next, I run one Proxy Dragon. You use it for the tokens. And you can run Mrs. Radiant, which I also run one of it too. Just Proxy Dragon's a little easier. Like say one of your tokens gets popped or something, but you still have like a frog monster, you can still use the Proxy Dragon instead of the Mrs. Radiant. But the Mrs. Radiant has much better arrows. With the Proxy Dragon, you have to summon the Spider first and then the Proxy Dragon. With the Mrs. Radiant, you can summon the Mrs. Radiant first, then the Spider. But really, it's not like that big of a difference. I personally like Mrs. Radiant better because it offers more like arrow opportunities, but it's still pretty good either way. I run one Nightmare Goblin. It does come up some, and you can also use this and like a spider. You can use like a spider and a token to make this and get an extra normal summon just in case your like tokens like kind of got blown out by something, like if you activate it during the battle phase and some of them get attacked or something. I run like one Cerberus. I could take this out for another Starboy like very easily because Cerberus is like pretty good, but it's not like the end all. And then finally I run two Link Spider. My Link Spiders are different colors, by the way. I don't know if you can tell that or not. Sorry I've been leaning off to the right so much. I didn't mean to go off that far. But I think my Link Spiders are different colors, but I'm not really sure. My friend Clay has a 7 Sins that's different colors, but I don't know if it is or not. It just looks like it does, I guess. But guys, if you enjoyed the deck profile, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And I really like doing these deck profiles. They're pretty fun to make, honestly. And tell me what you think about the Paleozoics. Any suggestions for my deck? I've been getting a lot of suggestions from people lately. By the way, guys, thanks for, I think it's 261 subscribers. That's actually a pretty good amount, and I really appreciate all the people who do subscribe and stuff. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.